Welcome back to Duda Dojo, your source for the latest Duda news, platform how-tos, and product updates. I'm Matt Scroggs, and this week several members of the RivalMind creative team and content team sat down to discuss SEO strategy using the Duda blog system. So let's listen in.
Rachel and Madison, thank you both for joining me here today. I'm excited to talk to both of you about things we do in the SEO department that also play a role in the web development department, and that would be strategized blog development. Mm-hmm. So, Madison, I'm gonna just dig into your brain a little bit first. As a content manager on our SEO team, you see hundreds of thousands of pieces of content that have to get loaded as blogs on our client's website, let alone our own. Can you talk to us about what are some of the key elements that are essential when someone is building a SEO strategized blog?
Yeah, so absolutely. So when you're starting to sort of build out a blog, I think it's really important that you find a balance. It's almost like walking a tightrope. On one side, you've got the readability for the search engines. It's really important that you're sort of checking off your whole laundry list of things. You want to make sure that you've got your meta title, your meta descriptions, all of your alt text, making sure that it's really, really useful for search engines.
Yeah.
And then the other side of that coin is the user experience, which we are all about here.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that it is really readable. It's digestible even.
So it's really important to have it appeal to the human being who's actually interested in the content.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really important that at the end of the day, because it's the most important thing, it's why you're putting that content up in the first place, is that it's leading conversions. Because if you're not leading conversions, why are you posting anything at all?
Yeah, I mean, and that's what we do here at RivalMind. We're SEO first, so it's super important for our clients that we work with to get those conversions. So that's a great point there. Can you show us what needs to be considered when you're putting a blog together, and how do you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and we'll dig right onto my screen. Here is a live blog on the RivalMind website right now. We posted not too long ago. And right now we've got our H1. Our H1 is super important. Usually our H1 and our meta title is going to be pretty similar. And the most important thing that you want to make sure that you're capturing in that H1 is somehow, some way, shape, or form your keyword. Your keyword is going to be the number one thing that users are using when they're performing their search queries in that search bar.
And I know that's an important part, that the team invests time in when they're planning for our clients. Are the keywords, what are relevant, how difficult the keywords are. So that's a great point, is actually get that into the title itself.
Yeah, absolutely. All of our blog content is competitively analyzed and strategized, So everything that we do from, your H1 to all the way down to your H3s, everything is so particular and precise, because our ultimate goal is to make sure that you're showing up on page 1 of Google.
Yeah.
So kind of to dig into that a little bit more, you've got your H1 here, and then we scroll down, we get a little bit of content, and then all of a sudden you've got your first H2, and your H2 is sort of your subheader.
Yeah.
There's always a hierarchy when it comes to blogs. You've got, your H1s, your H2s, your H3s, and you can go all the way down to 7 if you really like.
Yeah.
But the ultimate goal is to make sure that everything is talking back to the last thing that it was introduced to. So if you've got an H3, maybe that's a very small part of a larger theme in your H2.
Yeah.
But then your H2 speaks all the way back to your main overarching theme of your H1. So finding, your story in that, I think, is really important when you're building out blog content.
So all of these H2s have to support the story you're telling with the H1, and the H3s have to support the H2s, and so on and so forth. I know that in web development, when we are transitioning these resources over, it's super important that we understand to maintain that header structure.
Yes, absolutely.
So can you tell us a little bit from, if you are working with a client's website, we're building in the Duda system.
Yeah.
They have a pre-existing website.
Yes.
They have, assets that are ranking. So whether that's pages or blogs or whatever the case might be, what do you do in web development in order to protect those assets and build them into the new website?
Yeah. So those assets are super important. But what we utilize is something called 301 redirects. And so we take the assets that already exist, and then it's just like a click of a button and swoop right over here to Duda.
Yeah. And that's because of the RSS feed, which is an important tool that Duda offers, is we can just pull that feed from another website and implement and pull it into the new Duda system.
Yeah. I love Duda. It just makes it so simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just there's the button, you take all the assets, it's over here, and then the client is happy and they keep growing as a company.
Yeah.
So, and I know we can probably speak on this a little bit, but maintaining those assets is super important. We had a client, which you can speak on, and they lost all of their assets because they went and they built another website.
Yeah. I mean, we've had a few clients. We have some horror stories for sure. This is something I'm sure you could share in where maybe a client went to another source to have their website built and then came to us for SEO. And we're looking at their analytics and we see the previous development company did not pay attention or protect those ranking assets and they just lost everything. So it's almost like we're starting from scratch when we take on clients like that, which is a part of why when we build strategized websites, we're so considerate. I mean, the web team works with the SEO team, you know, to make sure that we're implementing all of those things from header structures in areas, not just blogs, but pages, meta titles, meta descriptions, 301 redirects. So that's something that we highly value at RivalMind.
Lots of communicating, collaborating.
A lot of communicating,
I was
collaborating.
gonna say, an aesthetic site, I love working on pretty sites.
Yes.
It's my favorite thing to do.
Of course.
It makes my job a lot more fun. But ultimately, you know, if the site isn't helping that client rank, you know, unfortunately, it's not worth it.
Yeah. What would you say as someone who builds blogs in different systems at RivalMind? What is the advantage of the Duda system when you're putting these blogs together?
Yeah, ultimately, I think the thing that Duda does the best and shines at the most is that what you see is what you get. So if we take a look at my screen right now, Duda is super simple in the idea that everything is customizable. Everything is sort of modifiable. It's super easy for me to just click a button and clear my padding. It's super easy for me to just, I want there to be that much space now. I want to add an additional column. When I work in other CMSs, sometimes, you know, you're sort of making magic happen on the back end, but then you're constantly having to go back and check in another screen, another browser to make sure that what you're doing on the live site actually ends up looking good.
Yeah.
In Duda, anything that you see, you know, if you're not 100% sure, there's a quick preview button and then you hop right back into your back end. Like I said before, what you see is what you get.
Yeah. And it makes it incredibly efficient for our team on both sides, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So quickly import those blogs via the feed, clean them up, check the page titles and meta descriptions. I mean, we even have the tech now with Duda to where, you know, page titles when they're missed.
Yeah, it alerts
and
you.
notifies us. So, you know, or whatever the case might be. So I really appreciate both of you coming and talking to us about this today. I can't wait to learn more from you as you have more to share about this and how we continue just to develop our strategies for our clients at RivalMind. So thanks both for joining me.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions or want to learn more, leave a comment below. And don't forget to check out the resources in this video description. I'm Jessica. This is Duda Dojo. We'll see you next time.